this is Gemma from NLP4Kids. I am here to share with you the NLP4Kids Profit Planner. Now, this is a document that very often we use with you when you attend a strategy call so that we can help you plan out your business and discuss the different areas of work that you would like to do. But if you would like to have a play with it in advance of meeting us, then here it is. I'm going to give you a bit of a tutorial on how to use it and important things to note about it. You will see firstly that there are 4 tabs across the bottom. So the first one here, which is titled Sheet 3, this is one that you can fill in, but it will probably take a little bit of time to get all of the answers to all of the questions here, because it's going to be asking you to start thinking about the niche areas in which you work and what social media platforms you're already comfortable with, and who are your competitors, so going off and doing a little bit of research, that kind of thing. Over here we have got our monthly marketing plan. So you've got a blank marketing plan at the top here, and at the bottom there are suggestions around different types of marketing and social media that you might be doing on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis. And then you can get really nitty-gritty and hop on over to Plan Your Week, which is a timesheet. Now, the reason why this is important is because you do need to commit to putting in the time for your admin and your marketing, as well as seeing your one-to-one clients. Plus, in your circumstances, you might have a job that you're transitioning from, or childcare that you need to take into consideration, or just days of the week when you're not going to be available on a regular basis. So you're going to want to block these out so that you can take the tasks that you need to do for building your franchise business and have those work around how your life currently looks. So let's do what we came here to do today, which is to look at the Profit Planner document. So I'll give you a few tips on how to use this before we dive into it. Firstly, you will note that some of the cells have a little red triangle in the top right-hand corner. That gives you extra information about what that particular subject heading means. So in this case, number of sessions, we're referring to the number of sessions per week. Over here on the cost column, this is quite a notable one. Now, obviously, I don't know what everybody's individual costs will be, because depending on what areas of work you're doing, whether you're going to be renting a room or working on Zoom, is going to make massive difference to what your outcome is. So I have prorated my costs in the context of my NLP4Kids business as a practitioner, and I've given you a list of what those sorts of things include over here. All right, so feel free to change these amounts if you think that they are not quite relevant for you, but just note as well that there are formulas running throughout the Excel spreadsheet. So you will see here, for example, in the net profit column, it is subtracting your cost from your total profit. And we've also got monthly calculations, annual calculations, and monthly pro rata. Now, the reason why we have a monthly pro rata column is because you'll see some of these areas over here with the asterisks that are shaded in a different colour. These relate to working in school, and school is not available every month of every year. Schools are actually available for work with you 7.5 months of the year. So for that reason, the calculations for working out your schoolwork needs to be done on a prorated basis. And you will see over here that it's times by 7.5 for your annual amount rather than times by 12. And another thing to note is if there is an area of work that you are not going to be doing, make sure you set the cost to 0, because otherwise your spreadsheet will grossly miscalculate, because you'll be being charged for things that you're not actually planning on doing. All right, so let's dive in now and have a play with this spreadsheet. Now, in months 1 to 3 after your training, there are going to be plenty of areas of work that you're not going to do. That being said, you might already have a network of people that you can reach out to start running some workshops with their children, and you're super confident to do it. Don't let me stop you. But I am going to say, based on my experience of working with new practitioners, it's probably not the first thing that people do. So I am going to 0 the costs for that one. I'm going to zero the costs for parents' community workshops because that's not something that new practitioners typically do, or teacher workshops or teachers coaching or working with charities. But what you most definitely will be doing is some one-to-one sessions with young people. I know you're going to be doing that because in your first 3 months after training with us and getting your franchise up and running, we'll be doing some marketing and advertising so that you'll be doing some consultation sessions. Now we're going to aim to get 5 client consultations booked in for you, but perhaps not all of those will convert to paying sessions straight away. So let's be conservative here and say that there's only 3 children that are going to come along for one-to-one sessions. £75 is the minimum amount that any of our practitioners charge. Some do offer discounts for buying bundles of sessions in advance, that kind of thing, but that's not something that you have to do. And you're going to see each child for 1 session per week. Now, it's not raking in loads of profit just yet. So let's say that in reality, out of 3 children, possibly you're going to get 1 of those parents coming for a session as well. We've increased the cost for working with an adult. For me personally, I tend to offer a longer session for an adult than for a child. So my child sessions are 1 hour, my adult ones are 90 minutes. But that's not to say that you have to offer 90 minutes, but we're going to put that one in at that much there. Again, I'm going to say no to any schoolwork just yet. And in terms of offering webinars, maybe not in your first 3 months. All right, so let's have a look and see what's happening. Now, it would be really easy to go into panic mode at this stage and go, oh my goodness, I'm making a loss, and over the course of the year, I'm going to lose £6,000. You're not. Over the course of the year, your goal is to make a profit, not to make a loss. But this is the first 3 months of setting up your business, and you've only put in 4 hours or maybe 4.5 hours of actual work. Let's say that we're going to add some admin time into that for planning the session before and writing up your notes afterwards. You've maybe done 6 or 7 hours of work in a week. So it's really not that much. We've got lots of potential to grow and lots of potential to pay, to get paid lots more. That being said, you do have to pay your license fees in spite of the fact that you didn't make a profit just yet. And for that reason, it's a really good idea to come into the business with a little bit in your back pocket for covering your initial license fees. So if you're on the full license, it's £330 per month, and that also includes all of your mentoring as well, which means that we get this tidied up much more quickly. Or on the lighter license, it's £150 per month that you also have to pay in addition to the costs that are listed up here. So we haven't put your license fee into those costs because we don't know which license you're going to take. So you do need to factor that in as well. All right, so let's hop forward a little bit and see what we can do to get this working even better. So I'm going to say right now you are still not going to be doing any community workshops, even though you're 4 months in. Nothing for parents just yet or teachers. Let's say that could we get you doing maybe a kind of one-off gig for a charity or an agency? Maybe, but I'm going to say no, just to be on the safe side. However, I'm going to pick up your one-to-one sessions a little bit here. So I'm going to say you've got 5 clients and you've raised your prices because your confidence has gone up. Congratulations. You're still only seeing them for 1 session a week. And out of that, you've got 2 parents coming and they're going to come for 1 session a week as well. Now, we might not just yet be doing any kind of as and when programs with schools or probably not any full days with schools. There might be a half day with schools in the mix. So let's have a look at playing with some of these. Let's say no to the term time programs are programs that are purchased by the hour. You probably don't want to do those because if you've only got 1, it's quite a big commitment. So you want to have built things up a little bit before you're committing to these. A half day in school, that's feasible. So let's say we're going to do 1 half day in school and we are not going to do a full day in school just yet. Probably no for the after school clubs. Now maybe we could start thinking about doing a webinar for some parents. Webinars are really good because you can have an unlimited number of people coming along really, and you can do them super regularly. I really like doing webinars, plus you can record them and people can listen at a later stage if they weren't able to attend live and on the day. So it's really easy to get high numbers of people signing up to webinar programs. I would say, typically speaking, you want to be aiming for anywhere between sort of 15 people, maybe up to 50 people. I think the highest number of attendees I've had on a webinar was about 120. And providing you're not doing too much Q&A, then they're relatively easy to manage. So let's be relatively conservative here and say that we're going to get 20 parents coming along to our webinars. And suddenly our profits are starting to look much healthier. So we've probably only done, let's see, 5 hours of work there, plus another 2 hours, that's 7. So we're maybe looking at somewhere around 15 hours of work if we're doing a slightly longer session for parents and we're including our admin time. Our webinar might be, say, 90 minutes long. We've got some planning time going into that as well, obviously. So that might take us up to perhaps the 15 hours of work for a week like that. So for 15 hours of work a week, you're bringing in just under £2,000 a month. You've obviously got your license fees to pay on top of that, but you're going to be comfortably paying those after all your other costs are covered as well. Now, some of our practitioners are quite comfortable to have a model that looks like this and to, continue like that because they've got families or other work that they're working around. But some of our other practitioners are a bit more full-time, let's say. So let's have a look at how this can look when we're doing something a little bit more go-getty with it. So let's say that you're going to start running some workshops for children in the local community. I don't want to overwhelm you, so I'm going to say that you've got 8 attendees coming along. They're going to come for 1 session a week. That's already looking like it's in profit. It's worthwhile keeping an eye on this as you fill it in, because sometimes you might notice that there's an area of work where if you don't get enough attendees coming along, it's going to make a loss. And then it might not be worth your while doing it. Or you might want to do it anyway because you know eventually you're going to build those numbers up and get more attendees coming. Do we want to do any parents' community workshops? Maybe, maybe not. I think we'd said we're going to do webinars for parents and professionals. So maybe we could say yes, but let's keep it at a low number of attendees. Let's say we're going to get 6 in. And that's making profit, so I'm happy with that one. Teacher workshops. Let's say we're going to do a teacher workshop with 4 teachers there. Does that work? Let's see. That's made us a little bit of profit, so that's okay. We'll still say no to teacher coaching programs. Let's pop that to 0. What about children's charities and agencies? Let's say no for that one for now, because we've already got some parent and teacher workshops going on. We don't want to burn ourselves out. So previously we were seeing 5 clients a week. Yes. So maybe we can increase this by 1. And let's say now that we have got, maybe you've done your parents and teachers training by this stage. So now you're going to see 3 parents because we've been marketing to them specifically. We already had our half day in school, didn't we? So that was this one. And then maybe let's also add in a couple of extra programs, but we won't do any full days just yet because we want to keep our time available for all of the teacher work that we're doing. We'll say no to after school clubs. So let's pop that to 0. We'll save that for a bit later on down the line. And let's say that we've managed to increase our webinar numbers, our regular attendees, to 25. All right, how many did we have before? Yes, that's 5 extra. So now how things are looking is drastically different. Yes, you have added in a few extra hours of work each week, but in reality, it's still not a huge amount. So we've got a maximum of 4 hours here. We've got a couple of hours there. So you can add this up and see that it's really going to still look quite a lot like part-time hours. You're still going to be able to do what we do at our office and take off all day on Friday. But you're going to be working, you know, with reasonable gusto in between time, doing the things that you are doing, and the admin and marketing that's needed to generate these areas of work for you. If you were to stick with this model, you are looking at a pro rata, let's look at the all-important pro rata column over here, of £6,000 per month. So the practitioners that are working more like full-time practitioners, this is a reasonable, achievable figure for them. They tend to be earning somewhere between the £3,000 to £5,500, £6,000 a month bracket on a consistent basis. That being said, obviously you do need to take your license fees off of there as well. And you might want to play around with some of the figures that I've suggested here to make them sound much more realistic for what you think is possible for this period of time and the time that you have got available to commit to your business. So you get the idea. I will leave it there. You've got years 2 and 3 to look at as well, so that you can see what else happens if you keep building and growing with this profit planner. And the next stage will be to send it over to us so we can give it a once over and let you know if we think it's realistic, or if there are areas that maybe you hadn't considered, or areas that you might want to make some adjustments. And then we can look to get you booked in for a strategy call so that we can take you through to the next stage of starting to build your NLP for Kids business. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope that's been helpful. Bye!